Okay, guys, I think this is just going to be kind of a fun topic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about backup extensions or file extensions, right? And this is something that gets overlooked by a lot of people, and you can use this to its fullest, and you can actually even have some fun with it. The problem is, a lot of times when you create a backup file, a lot of times you want to say, you want to put the date in there, and you want to put the name of the backup, and you want to put the name of the database in there, and you may even want to put what type of backup it is, right? So actually, I did all of that wrong. Hold on. Let me put that here. There we go. Okay, so you got the date in there, you got the type of backup, you've got the database, and I've actually got the type in there twice. There we go. And you can some people will throw some other stuff in there too. Sometimes they'll separate them with dashes or underscores to help them pull that out. And and if it's a log backup, then you'll want to go a lot finer grain date than this, right? And almost everybody uses .diff, .back, and .trn, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. So, if I run this backup, it's only 35 megs. There we go. Then I get that, and I get a .back file, and and everything is good. But what if I want to, what if I want to brag on myself, right? I can say, this is my best backup ever file. You see here, now I've got my best backup ever. But the thing is, it doesn't even need an extension, right? You can just put no extension whatsoever in there and have just a grand time with no extension whatsoever. It's not even necessary. Or, one of the things I really like is you can use it to flag the file for, say, an NT admin or a NOC admin, somebody who's who will typically be responsible for coming in and cleaning up space on the drive, right? So you can specify that this is an archive, do not delete file, because they may not look at the file name very closely. They may be looking at this and saying, oh, and then looking at the date, they may say, oh, well, this is a SQL backup file, and the date is from a year ago, so I can go ahead and delete this. But if you look at it here and it says it's an archive do not delete file, well, I don't care how far back it goes. Maybe you can delete it, maybe you can't, but you need to contact somebody first, right? So that's, you've got your backup, you got your type here, and this is a really good way to make sure that people don't just go deleting files for without any justification. Another really good one is here, when you can give it a do not restore to dev systems, right? So that's actually a pretty good one too, because let's say you've got junior admins or NT admins or whatnot that don't realize that you've got sensitive data on there, or somebody that just walked into your shop, it's their first week, and they're asked to restore, a copy of the database to a dev system. Well, this one, it says clearly right here, do not restore to dev systems, right? So they'll know right away that they can't restore this file, because maybe they didn't read this entire thing, this entire thing over here very carefully, because maybe it's like this one where it's got a whole string of stuff in there, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. But over here it's kind of hard to lose that in the shuffle, because it's right there, it's in the extension. And then I'm just going to have a little fun down here. You can use this to write yourself a note, which you need to do sometimes for the purpose of a backup, right? So you can create I took this backup because I know the dev, and of course this is gonna, come on. I took this backup because I knew the developer was an idiot, and I knew he was gonna screw up his upgrade. You can't fit the whole thing over there, but you can fit it all over here, right? So that's just a little bit of fun to tell yourself why you took the backup. But it's also easier to parse to parse an extension. If you've got a specialized extension like this, to take all of this and parse it out of the file name, especially when you've got all this other stuff, is a lot harder than it is to just parse the extension, because most scripting languages, or all the scripting languages really, can tell the difference between a file extension and a file name. PowerShell is really good at that, right? Because we'll all say .NET because that's where PowerShell gets it. And even if not, it's much easier to go to the period and count back than it is to parse all that other stuff on the left side of it. So anyway, you can use this to look for file extensions in your script of certain types. You can, use it to write notes to, to Windows admins or to junior DBAs or to knock people. But it's a nice little underused portion of naming your backup files, and I thought I'd show you guys this so that maybe you could start having some fun with it and start incorporating this into some of your things. Anyway, that's all I got.